Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Constant Brooks, and this episode we're going to talk about it's like a motivational episode again, in the sense that you know, so you're listening to this, and whatever age you are, you know, once upon a time when you were younger, and what happened was that you maybe you were going to school, and your family was supporting you, giving you lunch money and all those stuff, and you just subconsciously expected that you, you expected that, okay, yeah, I'm going to school, the family going to support me, and if they were not rich or whatnot, when they go to school, they always find a way to actually send you and get you money and stuff like that. But you were young, and you may not have realized the struggle and the fight that they had to actually do to actually get those money to actually send you go to school. You just see it as privilege, you know. And then eventually you grow up to become an adult, and then you start to realize how hard this money is to make. You realize how hard, and bro, when you get it, because you know how hard it is, when you get it, you have this urge to just keep it to yourself, because bro, I work hard for this money, and just to give it away, have a child, but I'm just starting to actually live the life I want and stuff like that, you know. So That's 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 a natural, uh, that's a natural um feeling, and there's nothing wrong with that. You work hard for the money, and then you have to really consider, you know, you and so as I said, people would have gone through this before. When I just got my first paycheck, I, it was not a lot, but I was like, bro, I was really cheap. I was really cheap because I just started to learn about this money. Before I got my first paycheck, I was learning a lot about money, and then when I got it, I'm like, bro, I was thinking that it was not even taxable income as yet, but I was okay thinking about taxes and all those stuff. I'm like, bro, it's just I was like, yo, that time I was just basically getting paycheck and just living in my grandmother's home. And be like, bruh, I'm stressed now because it's the most money I ever worked for and earned. And it's like, you know, so that could be you. You reach a point where you basically earn your income and stuff like that. Then you're in a position that you can help the less fortunate. But the thing about it is that when you're poor, or when you're not as rich as you were, or when you get richer, you don't know how privileged you don't know how, if you are rich enough, that you can help someone, because you don't know if you got, okay, you can say something like, okay, I can give this person the money to help him, but what happens, I budget this money to actually do certain stuff, and you see this less fortunate person. So that's a natural thing as well. That is natural. You can't go out and try to save people when you barely can save yourself. You have to actually be on a solid ground and stuff like that. But the thing about it is that you have to actually know when you're on a solid ground. And what I realized on this journey was, I what I realized was that, and something that I learned from my grandmother before I went on my journey as well, is that w- there is strong people and there's weak people, and you won't be strong forever. You won't be always strong, and you won't be always weak. There's certain times you'll be stronger. Like, for example, there was a point that I was really sick, if you remember, really sick, and then my grandmother was way older than me. stronger than me and stuff to help me get me back to myself. So I'm strong enough to actually can help you in ways like this. And it was not because she was stronger than me, but that it was true. She was stronger through resilience and experience. That's her strength. That's her strength that helped me get me back up to make me can reach this far, so that I can actually maybe in a chance to help you. Well, I say life is weird and not fair like that, where you can be up now and then down and stuff like that. But when you're up, there's the notion that okay, if I help this person when they're up, they're not right and stuff like that. But you have to really think about it like this. If you hoard all the riches to yourself, you won't really enjoy it. You have to basically if you want to see more good doing this world, you have to really give person less fortunate that would be more inclined to go the bad route. Give a person a taste of the good life. You know what doing it the right way or stuff would be like, so that it can just influence them to actually want to do it the right way and stuff like that. And that's what basically this episode is about, where I say, okay, you know, I reached this point where I could actually reach enough to actually help one of my family member influence somewhat, get him on what the right path could be. And that's an accomplishment. I never thought of this. I never thought of this. I was out there trying to get myself together. But I to reach this point where I got this start, where basically, when I'm working, and if you realize by this phase I'm employee again. I'm working, and this person, one of my family members called me, be like, "Yo, you just graduated high school, and he wants some assistance to actually pay for his graduation." And I was able to assist him and pay for his graduation. And it's like, bro, when I realize that, like, bro, you can actually reach enough to do that for your family, bro. That's a start. That's a start to actually get your family out of poverty, to be able to assist your person in getting reaching the last phase of their graduation. And that, bro, that's the start to actually doing something. Like, yo, that one money could change the cycle of that section of the family forever. The fact that he made it to he worked hard and get to graduation. Suppose I never have the money to actually get to the graduation. That could basically just basically um be like, yo, that could be disappointing to be like, yo, I worked this hard in school and I barely could afford graduation. Education is worth nothing, you know. But I that actually went to college and stuff like that. They're in the position to actually help him do that. Could, or maybe not, but it could influence to say, yo, bro, um, this education thing, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. That there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And then when you see that there's some light in the end of the tunnel, then you have this podcast basically can give you a audio experience of what the light at the end of the tunnel looks like and stuff like that, and motivate him to actually go, or motivate first to actually go. So that's basically how it's that motivation episode for you, where when you're on your journey out of poverty and something like that, you're gonna reach the state where you are going to eventually get richer, and then you'll be able to actually assist people that are less fortunate than you. And one of the greatest, one of the best feeling could be when you're in a position to actually help your family, because it's not when you're actually able to assist your family to get a start. It's not all on you to actually try to get the family out of poverty and take them out of this. No, you just basically assist them in a certain way, and then boom, they just get their start, and then when they get their start now, then they can assist themselves to reach somewhere. So you don't really have to actually be out here worrying and stuff like that. You just give them the start to say, okay, this is the right way, and they see it, they see the vision, and be like, bro, okay, I see it now. So that's basically it, this episode, a motivational episode, no, and motivation episode for you to see that, yo, all this grinding, you may not see what it can bring yet, but bruh, bruh. The thing about it is that when you go on a grind, you just things that you never thought you could do before. You're basically doing it and be like, oh my gosh, you know, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you know. So that's the thing. But the thing about it is that when you're getting this stuff and you're getting richer, you have to learn the good and the bad. You have to be able to separate the good and the bad because the thing about it is that you start to try to hoard the things by yourself, you get all the bad. It's like, for example, if you just hoarding um water, water is very important for your survival. You need it to. Water is life, but the same water can kill you, can drown you, can do so. So the thing that is very essential to life can be the thing that kill you. That same thing about money. Money, money in this world is essential, but you have to learn when when it's right to use it and when it's wrong to use it. It's a good slave with a terrible master. And those are stuff you have to learn. And stuff you have to learn through experience. As you reach new levels, the money is good for certain stuff and then it's not good for certain stuff. And so you have to really learn as you go. And yeah. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode. Mhm. Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
We're back on the phones because for some reason I can't record on the computer again using the mic. Yeah, so you know what we're gonna do again is the 27th week. And you know what happened was like when if you're hearing the crickets in the background, it's pretty appropriate given the sense that I'm working on the night shift now. So you do the crickets, I'm trying to avoid it. But the idea just came to me like, okay, since I'm on the night shift, it's appropriate to actually record a night episode. Yeah, so it's a background effect now. It's a background effect of the podcast now. Yeah, so that being said, this episode I talk about the 27th week, and I said